Hey guys, so a few weeks ago I made a tutorial showing how I edit my videos, and you guys gave it so much support that I decided to make another tutorial. I've gotten a few requests for it, and it's an important part of the YouTube game, so I am going to be showing you how I make my thumbnails. I use Adobe Photoshop 2015, which is part of the Adobe Creative Cloud. So just like my last tutorial, I just wanted to show kind of my workflow in action, so I decided to just make a thumbnail. So first off, I take a screenshot from the video and drag it in. Sometimes there are some minor adjustments needed, but for this one, it is pretty good. You can go down here and delete the background layer. Then I usually duplicate the original layer just so I have two that are the exact same. Using the layer on top, I go to Filter, Blur Gallery, and Field Blur. Depending on the background, I add different amounts, and this one doesn't need too much, so I'm just gonna leave it at about 27. Hit OK, and we're in. Now go to Layer, Layer Style, and then here you can go to Inner Shadow. Mine's already set up to basically do the effect that I do in all my thumbnails. Basically, I start off with 0 distance, and then I increase the size to about 250 pixels. Depends on the scene and how much I want to separate the subject from the background. So there we go. This looks pretty good. Now you can go back down to the layers and drag the bottom one on top. This is a technique that probably any Photoshop expert will tell you never to use, but it's what I've learned works best in my workflow. I increase the size of the eraser and I take the hardness down to 0. And then I basically just erase. Just doing the general larger parts first, and then you can just decrease the size, and do some zooming, and just go around the edges. Okay, now I have a little bit tighter cut, and now I need to do the details. My least favorite part, and probably what I'm worst at with Photoshop, is hair. Especially when hair is so crazy like mine always is on the side here. I always struggle with getting it perfect, mainly because if I do try to be accurate, it just makes it look weirdly choppy. So I try just to do some general areas. I just click around through the hair until it looks fairly natural, and there we go. Now it looks slightly unnatural, but it has no white space behind it. Then I increase the brush to a fairly large size again, and I just brush right over the edge to soften. Now zoom out, and it looks pretty good. Now we'll just repeat the steps on the other side. Zoom out, and it doesn't look bad. Granted, it doesn't look great, but it also doesn't look bad, because you gotta remember when you're making thumbnails, they will end up being pretty tiny. And that's probably as big as you'll ever see it, so in most cases, it will be that small. Thumbnails are not about accuracy, are not about the perfect picture. They're more about captivating an audience or just showing that effort was put into it. Now I go to File, Export, and Export As. Then I check Smaller File just to make it a more manageable size for YouTube. Go ahead and hit export, and there you go. And there we go. I know that's a super unprofessional way to use Photoshop, but it's what I've learned how to do. If this tutorial was helpful and you want more tutorials, leave a comment of which ones you'd like and push thumbs up on this video. Let's try and get it to 20 likes. Alrighty, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.